In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 100 mods in Ark Survival Ascended. And there could be creature mods, map mods, structures, anything goes. There's going to be all kinds of mods for pretty much anything you could want in Ark. I'm going to be including all kinds of different stuff to kind of show off all the different mods in Ark Ascended right now. Also, there's like a 25% sale on premium mods going on until the 24th. And also, I've been given like 11 or 12 codes to give out for free. They're going to be in this video, basically like hidden throughout when I'm talking about the premium mod, and I'll mention when those mods are, but they'll be free codes, just only one, so some people can actually get them for free, so that'll be nice. But anyway, let's get into the video. The first mod we have on the list is the Griffins mod, and this one is a really good one. It basically just adds Griffins back into the game, but it also brings a bunch of new features with them as well, so they don't just get Griffins. The variant this ones have is Mountain Griffins, and they might have some other ones as well, but basically you can find them on pretty much all the maps, and then you can tame them, and you can build saddles for them too. You can just have a saddle on it, which normally Griffins don't have. You can also make different types, like the Chitin saddle, which I think looks pretty cool, but my favorite is definitely the like metal or flax saddle. This one looks really cool. They also have like nests that you can have, and then you can have them like laying in the nest too. I think it's a really cool looking animation as well. There's just a lot of cool stuff. There's also like a Griffin's workbench with this mod that it includes, and you can get like helmets and stuff for them. It's really cool. And number 2 is silent structures. This is a very simple one, but it will be kind of useful. It's more of a quality of life one. Basically just makes structures silent, and you can change the settings of it. If you go to your like pause menu, there's a structure volume setting at the bottom, and there's a little slider, and you can change it to be however loud you want. If you still want to hear them but you don't want it to be super loud, you can change it. I think it's just a nice little quality of life mod. Number 3 is the hairstyles mod, and I think this one's also just a nice little one. It basically just gives a few extra hairstyles. A lot of them are just like longer hairstyles, but they also have a lot of detail in them compared to the regular Ark ones, so it's kind of cool with this. It also has its own workbench as well, and you can build like more skins for your helmets and hair and stuff like that. And it's just a nice little mod. If you want to have some more decoration or I guess customizability with your character, then this is a nice mod to have. Number 4 is Teleporters ASA. This one just adds those super teleporter things from the, I believe this mod was in Ark Survival Evolved, just moved over to Ark Ascended, and it works really well. They're simple teleporters, they're not super hard to make. You can place them anywhere you want, and you can teleport to them. They also comes with a remote where you can teleport to the teleporter from any location. It also gives you the ability to teleport to any obelisk as well, which is nice. You can also teleport your creatures or anything around you, and it works really quickly. It's just nice if you don't want to have to travel around the map all the time, and you just want to be able to quickly teleport around from place to place. Number 5 is the Clifton's Backpacks mod. This one is a really cool one. It basically just adds backpacks to the game, which I think would actually be a cool thing in just regular vanilla Ark, but we don't have that yet. It is pretty cool though. You get all kinds of different backpacks that you can equip, and if you do, you get a weight reduction. There's 3 tiers. The tier 1 gives you like a smaller weight reduction, but still pretty good. And then I'm just gonna skip tier 3 here. As you can see, the metal weighs normally 300, now weighs 105, so you get a really big weight reduction with the tier 3. And of course, all the tiers are different levels, so you have to be pretty high level to get the tier 3 one, but it's also going to be a little bit more expensive, but of course it'll be worth it. And number 6 is Moro's Tylosaurus. This is another creature mod. This one adds a brand new creature, the Tylosaurus, and it's really well done. The animations are really great, and it's got some cool abilities too. It has like different venom modes where you can use different venoms and switch between them. Also, you can like jump out of the water and stuff, which I think is really fun as well. It kind of like jumps out like that, and it does like splashes and all kinds of stuff. As well as the saddle basically is like an oxygen tank, so you kind of sit in there. You get unlimited oxygen when you're in there, so you don't have to bring scuba gear if you're riding this thing, which is also quite nice. I think it's a nice little bonus. I'm surprised no other creature in Ark actually has that ability, but this one does, and I think it's just a really cool creature to add to the game. And number 7 is the Appalachia Map. This one's in early access currently, so it's not finished. I think it's like 40% complete. It's also like $5, so it's one of the cheaper maps. Usually the maps are like $10, but this one's $5. And I think this one's a really cool one, honestly. I also have a giveaway for this one. The code's going to be somewhere on screen, hidden throughout the footage of here, so if you're the first to get it, then congratulations. But anyway, this map is pretty cool. It's kind of based more like on realistic landscape. I think it's like more supposed to be like Northern America type landscape, which I think looks really cool, honestly. There's also like different villages and stuff you could find, just like abandoned, but they kind of look more like modern, or not modern houses, but you know, not like castles and stuff ruins. They're actually like old houses and stuff like that, which I think looks really cool. You can also find like forts and stuff, as you can see right here, with like spiked walls on the sides, and I think those also look really cool. I think the biomes on this map are really cool because they're a lot different from regular Ark biomes, and it definitely makes it look different. I think that's a cool thing about it. There's also tons of like plains biomes, so like huge open flat areas like fields where creatures will be roaming, and I think that's a cool detail too, is we don't really have anything like that in Ark. I guess the closest thing would be like the like plains biome from Ragnarok, but these ones feel a little bit different, as they feel like more open plains, and they look really cool, and you got like the pine trees surrounding them as well. Some of the biomes are just really sick. There's also tons of Arctic biomes with like ice glaciers and stuff like that. There's also a huge like ice biome that isn't finished yet. Like this area you can see on the screen, it's just like really open, and then of course it's not finished yet. It's really nothing there right now, but it still looks pretty cool. And of course, like I said, there is lots of Arctic, and I think that's a cool part of this, is there's just lots of Arctic biomes and tons of variation to the Arctic biomes as well. They look a lot different throughout the map. There's also a desert biome as well you can find, which I think looks pretty cool. It doesn't look like scorched earth or anything. It looks really unique. Like I said, it looks kind of like a more of a realistic desert biome, which I think is a nice touch. There's not really any unique creatures on this map though. At least I don't think they've added any yet. Or I don't know if they're going to, but of course, if you are looking for that, they don't really have any like unique creatures. It's all the same. It's just the map itself. Also, this map has got to be one of the biggest maps out right now. It is absolutely huge. I'd say it's even bigger than like Ragnarok is. It is really big, and there's tons of areas to try and explore. Also, I just want to mention, whenever I talk about one of these mod maps, for the later mods after it, I'm just going to be filming that footage on the map so you can kind of see more of it. And then once I talk about a different mod map, I'll switch the map that the mod's on, or the mods are going to be filmed on. So thought I'll just let you know about that. But at number 8 is the Diamantinosaurus. This one is a really cool one. It's a really well done mod, and it's kind of like a just giant sauropod, very similar size to the Bronto, but it's got some cool abilities. You could find it sleeping around, and you could set it to sleep when you tame it, and you just gotta like basically passive feed it while it's sleeping, and you can go up to it. I think that's a really cool feature of it. There's not really many creatures that can actually sleep in Ark, so it's a cool addition for that. This one also has a platform saddle. It's really unique too. It's kind of like a wooden platform saddle, but you can also add a bunch of different attachments to it. You can add like saddlebags like up the neck and stuff, and also like leg barrels. It also passively makes a med brews as well, so you can get med brews from this thing, which is a nice bonus. It's got a roar too that you can do with like its weird thing on its face. I don't really know what you'd call that, but it definitely looks kind of cool. And number 9 is Utilities Plus. This is a simple one, more of a quality of life one. Basically it adds like a bunch of the like normal like early game weapons that are usually like kind of annoying to try and make over and over again, and just gives you unlimited of them. So you get like unlimited spears when you make one. You have unlimited durability on whips. You have unlimited durability on torches, and then you have unlimited bolas when you make just one bola. You also have unlimited flare guns if you just make a flare gun, and unlimited parachutes when you make a parachute. So just nice utility features. And number 10 is the AP Death Recovery mod. This basically just adds a gravestone that you can place down anywhere you want. I think you get it at like level 25, and then once you do, you just basically go up to it whenever you die, and you retrieve all your items back, which is just nice if you don't want to have to go and find your body every single time you die and go claim it, or if you just want to have it so that way if your body glitches into the world or something and you can't get your items back, you can just use this. I think that's good use for it. Even if you don't want to like abuse it every time, you can still use it just to recover your items that get glitched in the world or something. And number 11 is the Super Cryo Storage. Basically how this works is you can shoot your creatures with a little cryo gun, and it will put them inside of a cryo ball. Super useful if you don't want to have to go up to all your creatures and then like take forever to put them in the cryo fridge thing. You can also like pull up this little menu here and see all the creatures you currently have balled up, and then you can pull them out and then throw them. They throw like way further, and they throw out pretty much instantly, and they don't have like cryo sickness or anything. There's cryo sickness on the screen, but that's because I was messing around with just regular cryopods. But yeah, you can just throw them out really quickly, and it's super nice. Of course, if you don't want to deal with the cryo fridge timer and having to place them down, then you can avoid that with this mod. Also, you can see all their stats when they're inside of a cryopod, as well as all of the like individual levels pumped into stats, which is pretty advanced and super useful if you want to know that for like mutations and stuff like that. And number 12 is the Super Spyglass Plus mod. This is great for an upgraded Spyglass if you want to see more stats. Kind kind of like the Tek binoculars. There's three different ones actually. The first one is just like a spyglass that works when you kind of zoom in like this, and you can like zoom in and out pretty easily and see all their stats. You can also track them and stuff like that. The other one is basically the same thing, except for you don't actually have a spyglass in your hand. You can just have like hands free and do whatever you want and still have it up on the screen, which is nice. And then the last one is like a skin that basically does the same thing as the last one, except for it's always on when you have the skin equipped to your helmet. At number 13, we have the Amissa Mod map. This one is a free one, so you don't have to pay anything for it. It's pretty large, and I think it's pretty cool. Basically, there's all kinds of unique structures. They're kind of like these white-looking buildings, as well as there's floating islands in the center, some of them that even spin around. There's not a ton of floating islands, but the map, I think it looks pretty cool overall. There is like these giant pyramids you can find, which I think are really unique. There's not really any other like map that has giant pyramids in them. You can even go inside of them, and they have mummies in them too. Also, I should mention this mod map has another mod called the Amissa Editions, which adds a few creatures, which I would recommend if you are going to play on this map that you should also get that mod as well. It's also free, but then there's like other islands and stuff like this. I think this island's really cool with like all the vegetation coming down as well. There's also its own custom Wyvern variant. So there's a Wyvern trench, and then there's its own Wyvern. There's 4 different Wyvern types. There's the 3 regular ones, the fire, the poison, and then the like lightning. There's also the earth variant too, which also I think just shoots fire, I think, but I guess it's nice to have some more variants as well. There's all kinds of different biomes, like Arctic biomes and desert biomes, of course, with the ones with the pyramids in them as well. There's also like custom boss arenas, and the boss arenas are on the map. Well, they're outside the map, so you can see them like out in the ocean, and when you're fighting the boss, you can see the rest of the map. Very similar to how the center works with its map. I think it's kind of cool, especially because there's not really maps that really do that often. What I've noticed about this map is it's got a ton of huge cliffs that kind of just scale up, as well as there's tons of different like colored trees. Like you got like these red trees that look really cool. Then there's like these kind of fall time looking like orange ones, which also I think look pretty dope. And then like the obelisks are all like destroyed, or they're kind of just like on the ground. They're not really destroyed, but they have fallen. They're not floating anymore. But I think this map is pretty cool. Like I said, lots of cliffs and all that kind of stuff. At number 14 is the Deco Gun. This is a premium mod for $2. I also have a code for it somewhere in the footage of the Deco Gun here if you want to find it and be the first to get it. But this mod is pretty cool, as it allows you to basically make your own terrain, which of course the only other way to do that would be to mod the game, which of course isn't easy to do, especially if you don't have a PC, because it's impossible to do that without a PC. But the point is, you can do this, and of course it's cross-platform too, so even if you're on console you can use it, and you can go make your own terrain and stuff. It's kind of fun to mess around with, but I mean, at the same time, you don't really need to have this one. Of course, you can place rocks and stuff. You will go through them though, so it's not gonna make it to where you can like walk around on top of them. It's more of just a visual thing. I think the trees are actually not like you can run into them and stuff. They're just kind of more for decoration. And number 15 is the RR Home Deco mod. This one just adds some furniture, so if you want some like kind of realistic modern furniture in the game, then you can get these. There also has these like storage bins that look kind of nice. There's also like just some appliances like blenders and egg makers and all kinds of stuff like that, and there's like random stuff. It's kind of just like some extra details. If you want to decorate your base, this mod will just give you some things to decorate it with. And number 16 is the Ark Wilds Scythitherium. This is a new creature, and it's really well done. Of course, it's its own custom model and everything, and I think this is a really well done creature mod. It's like a giraffe with antlers. It's pretty cool, and it's got some pretty unique abilities. It can run pretty quick. It's great for travel. You can also kind of like sit down like this, and then it will get up. The main abilities it has is thermal vision, so you can see really well, and this is the only creature that has it currently in Ark Ascended. Of course, that's going to be before they end up adding like the snow owl and stuff, but I think it's great of like an earlier game creature to try to use thermal vision. It also has the ability to see like their stats, like Tek binoculars. It basically just gives you that ability on it, which I think is really nice and kind of an interesting way of like implementing that ability if you don't have any like super spyglass mod. And number 17 is Automated Ark, which adds, first off, it adds this little crafting station, which allows you to basically make upgraded versions of all the different crafting stations in Ark, plus a few other ones that'll just give you some more benefits. There's just like simpler, I guess, more advanced versions of the regular ones. So for example, there's like vaults here. You can even make wooden vaults, and they have way more storage than the regular ones. They're smaller, so they're more efficient in size. Most of the things are a lot smaller, so like the fabricator here, you can see it's a little bit smaller, and they all have more storage than the regular one does. This one also includes a spoiling bin. There's tons of different stuff like that that just makes it, like, the quality of life a lot better in Ark. And yeah, this one's pretty good, especially if you just want some upgraded versions of the vanilla, like, crafting stations. Number 18 is the Anala Macaris, which is, of course, from Ark Editions, and this is a premium $5 one. And it's pretty good. I definitely like it. Of course, I really like all of the Ark Editions creatures, so having another one is pretty nice, except for this one's not coming to the base game, unlike all the other Ark Editions ones. So if you want to have some more Ark Editions creatures in the game, then you need to pay $5 for this one, and I think it's pretty well made. And of course, it's more of like an ocean creature. It basically transforms itself into an Ichthyosaurus, and once you get near it, it'll like attack you and then transform back. It's got like different venom modes and stuff, and I don't know if this one's already in the game yet, but it has like an alpha version too that they're gonna have at some point, so you'll be able to have that if you pay for the premium version. And number 19 is visual storage. This one is a pretty self-explanatory one, but basically just adds a bunch of different storage bins that shows what's actually in them and how much of it there is. Basically, all of the different storage bins are for their own thing. So, of course, this one we're looking at is an element one. And then there's the black pearl tray. There's also just a campfire there too, which is nice. Then you can also get like bottles for liquids and stuff like that. Like that one on the left, I believe, is angler gel. And then, of course, you could have more stuff with like element and stuff like that. And then there's the giant like sheds for like wood and stone and stuff. It's just nice to be able to see all of the resources pile up. I think it's kind of cool if you're into that. And of course, I think it's actually a pretty nice one. And of course, there's like, as you can see right here, there's barrels with like salt and sand. So there's just all kinds of different things for all the different resources in the game. Pretty much every single resource in the game has its own unique thing set up for it. And then number 20 is the TG stacking mod. There's actually, I think, like 3 different versions of this, depending on how much you want them to stack to. But basically, it just makes all the different resources stack to whatever number the mod you downloaded for it is. So, for example, I believe this one is the 1000 stack mod. So basically, all resources stack to 1000. But you can also get a 10,000 one and a 100,000 one. These mods also make it to where whatever stacks has a huge weight reduction on it as well. And number 21 is Svartalfheim Premium, which is $10. But there's also a free version of this that has a few less things, but still has all the main features of Svartalfheim. So if you want to play it for free, there's the free version. But the premium still one gives you more if you want the option for that one. I also have a code for this one. I'll have some point on the footage of the Svartalfheim one. But this is one of the few mod maps that's actually like pretty much complete. I don't know if it's completely done, but if it isn't, it's like 99% done. Like this one's pretty much done. So if you want a map that's like almost finished pretty much, then this would definitely be the way to go. This one does have a few like things about it. First off is there's no flyers on this map. They don't even spawn in, so you can't get flyers on this map. It's more about land based, but it is like really small, but also there's a ton of stuff in the area, so it kind of makes do with all of these small areas it has. It's made by the creator Nykadis, which is also the one who made Fjordur from the island, or from Ark Survival Evolved. So if you do like Fjordur, then you'll probably like this map, even though it is a bit different. It has the same like visual style. It looks like what I imagine Fjordur is going to look like once it comes to Ark Survival Ascended. It has a lot of what looks like to be the same kind of assets and stuff. It's like a Norse mythology themed map as well. And one detail I like is it has the world snake wrapping around the map, which I think is just like a cool little detail. Okay, so it would be a big detail, but whatever. There's a tiny little volcanic biome over here. There's tons of caves and stuff. There's also a mod that goes with this. I believe it's like the Svartalfheim Armory. I would definitely recommend getting it if you are going to get this mod. It is free and it goes with it. You get a few skins like this mammoth skin, this Thyla skin. You also get the dwarven armor set as well. This map also has its own boss arenas and stuff like that. And number 22 is the Dino Finder. This one, basically, once you install it and you go to your map screen, at the bottom right you'll have this open finder button, and what it does is when you open it up, you basically have access to all the dinos in the game. You can see where they are. If they have spawned in, they'll show up on this little menu. You can see how many of them there are, and if you click on it, it will actually start tracking them if you hit this little track button at the bottom right, and it'll show you all their locations as well as levels, and you can filter it by levels and genders, or if they're babies or not, and all that stuff, so you can find them. If you don't want to spend like hours searching for high leveled creatures, or just don't want to search for creatures, this is a good way of finding those as well. Or if you just want to mess around and try to find some rare creatures with this, you can also use it for that as well. As you can see, I located this otter and I just fly over here real quick, but you can see you can also just click to track it, so you don't have to look at the map each time. It'll just show up, and then you can remove it by going back to the menu and clearing the little thing. I think it's a pretty useful mod though. And number 23 is Moro's Nothosaurus. This is a really well done creature, and it's a really unique one too. It's like this kind of really long lizard creature that is great for underwater, but can also walk on land as well. It has a ton of different abilities. It's got like a roar, you've got like a tail whip ability. You can also like search for silica pearls, so it will locate silica pearl locations around you, which I think is a nice little detail and something that is going to be pretty useful, especially for getting silica pearls. But this one's a really cool one. It's got a lot of different stuff it can do, as well as like explosions and all that kind of stuff. There's so many abilities that this thing has, but I think it's just a really well made creature overall, with some really nice animations as well. And number 24 is the admin panel. This one's really used if you're, of course, an admin for a server, or if you just want to use cheats. It's the best way to do it because you don't have to memorize all the cheats. They basically have all of them set up for you here. You can go into like spawning in creatures, and if you want to spawn in a creature, you can set its level to whatever you want. You can imprint it, you could put saddles, have it already, and then you could choose the like rarity of the saddle, so you can have it ascendant when it spawns in, and then you can change the gender as well, and then you can spawn in the dinos. You can also spawn in items. There's tons of different commands list and pre-commands that you'd probably use a lot. You can have this one's just really useful. Like I said, if you don't want it to have all the commands memorized, you want to mess around with cheats, this is a good way of doing it, because you can do all kinds of different stuff in here. There's so many menus and all that. You also have the ability to teleport. You can set teleport locations and teleport there automatically. You can even teleport to the locations of artifacts, even on, I believe you can do it on maps that are like mod maps as well. As you can see, it's doing it on Svartalfheim right here. And number 25 is the Easy's Engram Unlocker. This one is a very simple one. Basically, whenever you level up, it will automatically unlock all the engrams for that level, so you don't have to go in there and learn them individually, and you don't have to worry about rationing your engram points, as it will just automatically get them. Sometimes it takes a while if you do huge levels in bulk like this, but you can see it eventually. It will go and learn all of them for you, so you can just have all of them and not have to worry about that. And number 26 is the Magna Gecko. This one is a shoulder pet, kind of more for the early game. And of course, if you want more shoulder pets in the game, this is a good one. It has the ability to basically like drop its tail down, which releases like this gas, as you can see right here, which is a nice little detail for the gecko. And it kind of sits on the back of your shoulder like that, and you can like access it by holding square or R on keyboard and mouse. I think X on Xbox to get that little menu up, so you can use its abilities that it has. And number 27 is the Cliffin's Wardrobe. You just basically build this wardrobe, and you get a bunch of skins for all kinds of different stuff. As you can see, this is one of the skins right here, as well as I believe there's like a samurai one as well, which looks pretty cool, and then there's this desert one as well. This is just a few of them, but there's tons of different skins. As you can see, all kinds of different ones you can use. There's medieval type armors, or just all kinds of different stuff. If you just want like a ton of different skins for armors to mess around with, then this is a good one to use. And number 28 is the Astraeos Mod map. This is made by the same person, Nicatus, who of course made Fjordur from Ark Survival Evolved, and Svartalfheim, which we just went over. This one is currently free, but there will be a premium version that comes out in like December, I think, is when it's going to come out. And I'll imagine it'll add more features. This one is only like 20% complete or something, so there's still a lot of work to go on this map. But this map is one of the biggest maps ever made. I think it might be the biggest. Of course, not right now, but it's planned to be absolutely huge. The area that's done right now, I believe, is like the same size as the island, and it's only, like I said, like 20% of the map. So this map is huge. Apparently, it's like twice the size of Ragnarok. It's a Greek-themed map as well, and the current area is like this like huge, like kind of looks like the chalk cliffs it reminds me of from Volguero. All of them are kind of like white. I think it uses like the scorched earth like cliff area like assets, basically just makes them white, and I think it looks really cool as well. There's a few different biomes, like there's a cherry biome, like cherry blossom trees, there's a swamp and stuff. This map also has a couple of other mods, or a few other mobs, and I would recommend you get all of them. They're all free as well if you're gonna play on this map, so it just adds more. This first one adds like ships to the game, so you can have these kind of Greek themed ships you can go around on, which are really cool. You can also build on the back of them as well. And then there's also ones that add skins, the Greek themed skins, with like the Spartan one. This Spartan skin is my favorite from it. There's even more like sword skins and other sets of armor you can get. And the other mod adds its own structure skin as well that you get put on structures. And each of the like structure pieces usually has like 2 or 3 variants you can cycle between. But of course, there's going to be more in this map. There's only like 3 artifacts right now, but there is its own custom like alpha creatures as well, called the Astral Variants, which are like these blue ones that give you better loot than regular alphas. As well as there's its own boss arena as well, with its own boss. It's just kind of like in the swamp area, and I believe there's going to be more bosses to come. But right now they have the Medusa boss. And number 29 is the Antrodemus, made by Tristan, and this one is kind of like an allosaur. It's around the same size as like a mid-sized theropod. It's just another one of these. It's pretty well done as well. I really like the theropod creatures, even though there's a ton of them and people say that there's too many in the game. I don't really mind it. I think it's cool because, of course, it is a dinosaur game, but getting a little off topic. It has its own set of armor as well. I believe a lot of Tristan's mods usually have like armor with the creatures, which I think is pretty cool. This one's got pretty dope armor, and each of them like do different things. I believe there's even like a mortar and pestle attachment you can put on this one as well. And number 30 is the upgrade station. This is a simple mod, of course, that was really popular in Ark Survival Evolved, and it's an Ark Ascended as well. The main feature of it is this main upgrade station here. Basically, as the name suggests, you just put things in there and you can upgrade their rarity instead of just having to find them. If you just put resources that you use to make it, it usually takes more than that, but it takes more resources for each upgrade, and you can slowly upgrade it. There's a few other pieces as well, like there's this blueprint bench where you can transform your pieces or the things you have into blueprints, and then there's the augment station, which basically adds even more damage and durability or whatever you're needing to a certain thing you want to upgrade if you already have it like maxed out to Ascended or maxed out to whatever you want to have it, and you can't like upgrade it to the next rarity. You can keep adding to it with the augments, so that's another nice way of upgrading things. And number 31 is a super simple mod that is a really good quality of life change. It's called Pull It. Basically just adds this little menu at the top of the screen, as you can see, and basically whatever you need, if it's not in your storage bin, so the smithy has nothing in it, you can just click on whatever you want to craft, and if there's resources nearby in a storage bin or anything else in another crafting station or whatever, you can pull the resources to make it, and then you'll have all of them exactly what you need, which is super useful just for not having to like run around your base and look for resources that you know you have. You can just click pull and you'll have it, and it saves you just a little bit of time and is a great quality of life mod. Number 32 is the Potions Plus Gaia Potions mod, which is a premium mod. It's like $2, but this one also has a free version, I believe. And this one basically just adds a ton of different potions to the game that you can make that all have different abilities. I just gave a few examples here, like this is the flying potion, it makes it where you can fly for 60 seconds. And then there was this one that like increases your weight. This one right here, the weight potion, pretty simple, just makes it so you have like infinite weight pretty much. And then there's just tons of different potions. As you can see, there's so many. I can't really go over all of them in this video as we have to get through these quite quickly, but this one adds a ton of different potions if you do want to check it out. And number 33 is the Barsaboldia. This has got to be one of my favorite creature mods because this is a really unique creature and a creature that I've wanted, well, not the exact one, but having like a giant hadrosaur creature in the game is one I've always wanted to have. So having this mod I think is really great, as of course it is really well made. It's got two different saddle types. This one right here with the bags on the side. This other one looks like a medieval style, like super heavy armor set with a cannon on the back that you can shoot. More PvP oriented, but still really cool either way. I definitely like these kind of creatures adding to the world. This one's free too, of course, it's not a premium or anything. And number 34 is the Marty Mod's Griffin. It's basically an owl like mixed with a griffin, and I think it looks really cool. The tail is a little bit bigger and it's got an owl face, but it's pretty similar to a griffin though. It also has a saddle you can make as well, but of course I think it's really cool. Of course, if you want more Griffin variants, of course the Griffin is a really cool creature in Ark, so having like a different variant to it that you can tame and have, I think is pretty fun. But after that, at number 35, we have the Custom Dino Levels mod. This one is a simple one as well, but it basically makes it to where you can change how the levels are for wild dinos, so you can kind of make it to where they spawn in higher levels, because on island or maps like the island, the levels really suck and it's super hard to find a high level even on max difficulty. So if you want to just have that annoyance gotten rid of, so that way you always get high levels or at least get them more commonly, then this mod will help you out. And of course there's instructions on how to actually set it up in the mod description as well. Number 36 is Survive the Night. This one's technically a map, but it's like its own game mode. Basically, you spawn in on this island, which is a custom-made island, and you've got to survive through the nights. Like it says, there are zombie creatures throughout the map, and there's like these little outposts you can find, and you can find loot there and get them. And there's a few creatures you can tame. There's not really many creatures that aren't zombies, but you can find a few of them to tame, and then you can build for yourself and try to explore the world, and eventually there's some goal that you get to at the end. But of course, this one's kind of fun if you want your own game mode, but of course, it's not one that you'll be able to play forever, because like I said, it's like a kind of just like a fun one-off game mode that you can play to maybe go kill some zombie creatures or get hunted by them. And number 37 is the Ice Age map. As you could probably tell, it's a completely Arctic snow-covered map that's got ice and snow on it, and it's pretty cool. I've always wanted a like completely Arctic map to explore, one that would be like scorched earth, but of course in the snow. I always thought that'd be a really cool challenge and have something like that. And this is one that's pretty much like that. It's all snow covered. There's a lot of water on this map too. I've noticed it's a really unique looking one. Like you've got a lot of like underwater structures like kelp and stuff coming out of the ground, which is interesting, as well as you have like this like kind of floating city, which kind of looks like the city from Extinction, as well as there's like the castle from Ragnarok at the obelisk with some penguin statues. You can find all kinds of different stuff here. It's a really unique looking map, even like past the Arctic. Like if this were just a regular map without all the snow, it would still look really interesting. And there's like huge icebergs and stuff outside, which will also look pretty cool. Number 38 is the Galvarex. This one is another pretty unique modded creature. I believe this one's like a fantasy one. It's got like the frills from the dillo on the side of it, and it can run pretty quickly. I believe it's more for the Arctic biome, and it's a pretty cool and unique looking creature. If you want some more like kind of like fantasy made up creatures, this could be a fun one to add. And number 39 is Arkpolis. This is a free mod map, and it's a pretty good one. I played on it like in February. I played on this map for a little bit, and it was pretty fun. But it's actually like nearly complete. I think it might not be completely done, but most of the map is like when I played on it, it was only like halfway done. But now it's like pretty much full. All the biomes are complete and stuff. One thing I noticed about this map is it has a ton of DLC creatures, like even ones that aren't in the game yet. It pretty much has almost everything. I've seen even like Genesis Part 2 creatures with tons of Tek Creatures and stuff everywhere too. There's even like Tek Gigas and stuff on this map, but it's got some pretty interesting areas, like the center area here with like the main obelisk. You can go over there, and it's like a huge floating island with a weird like tech thing in the center, and there's lava and then water on the other side. It's pretty cool. It's like the main feature of there, and of course there's the huge water on the other side, kind of like covering that up. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, there's tons of DLC creatures on here as well. There's also a desert kind of area, but we've never really seen any desert that looks like this before. It's very unique looking, and it's a pretty big biome as well. It's also got lava in the center of it. And then at one of the corners of the map is this giant like box that goes down where there's a volcano with a ton of different tech buildings and like futuristic ruins and stuff all there, as well as there's like the element veins from Extinction that you can harvest, as well as Tek Creatures. Like I said, the Tek Giga is here, and you can find all kinds of other stuff in here. This map also has a Wyvern Trench, which has regular Wyverns and Crystal Wyverns. I noticed that were in here as well, so you also have access to those. And number 40 is Ark Ascended. This is an overhaul mod that adds a bunch of different tiers of dinos and super OP dinos to the game, and it's pretty fun to play through. I played this one once again early in February on this map, Arkpolis, and I had a pretty good time with it, except for the mod wasn't really finished yet, and there's been a lot added to it since I last played it. Of course, now that I've seen it, with all the new stuff they've added, there's a ton of stuff to mess around with in here, tons of biomes, creatures to go through, which of course, you know, are all like the buffed up versions, regular ones, but it can still be fun. It starts out, there's the ordinary creatures, which are kind of orange like this, and there's the bigger excellent ones, which are kind of like this turquoise blue color. Then there's the bosses you can get. You can either get like dragons or Megapithecus and stuff like that. Then there's these two of the same tier. There's the divine, and then there's the devilish ones. I believe there's even more tiers, but those are just the starting few that you get. Or not starting, that you don't get them, you tame them, you know what I mean. You kind of have to go through all the different tiers, and you need their kibbles to unlock the next ones, and you need eggs to make those, and then you have to actually kill the other ones to make the kibbles. So it's kind of like the tier up system that you get. Next we have the Draconis mod. This one adds a brand new creature to the game. As you can see, it's super unique looking, nothing really like anything in Ark. Obviously, it looks pretty fantasy-like, even though I believe some of the comments were saying in my last video that this is based off some sort of real creature. Not sure exactly what that is, but apparently it is. It does look really unique, though. It's pretty cool. It's mainly a water creature, but it can also go on land as well, even though it's not that great on land. It's mainly for the water. It also has like a bubble breath ability that you can use, as well as some attacks underwater as well. And number 42 is Reverence Premium. This one's like $5, and there's also a free version with less stuff on it. But I also have a code for this one if you want to be the first to find it somewhere throughout this footage here. But this is a pretty cool map. I believe it's based off of the Horizon games, which I really do like those games, and you can kind of tell with like the art style on the map itself. There's a lot of like the snow-covered cliffs, which I think look really good. and it's a pretty fun one. Like, I think the main majority of like the top of the map is complete, but I believe there's going to be like a huge underneath section that isn't out yet that they're going to add, like the underworld area, so that could be really cool when it eventually does come out, but it's also not out yet, so keep that in mind. There's like this little jungle area too here with these jungle trees, which look pretty unique. I haven't really seen anything like it. There's also like a little city area, but as you can see, this one's not complete either. All the buildings are just white. I imagine they'll get finished at some point, but right now they're kind of just white blocks, so also keep that in mind as well. But there are like these little towers around the area that are finished, as well as like on the mountain here there's this huge building you can go inside of and get a few artifacts as well, so you can kind of just find fun stuff like that. I believe all of these are supposed to be like abandoned futuristic buildings, which I think is kind of a cool concept for a map. And number 43 is the Paleo Ark mod, specifically the Predators one, as there's two different ones, but this one adds two creatures, the first one being the Evo Giga, which of course kind of just replaces the regular Giga, and of course you can also like change between which one it is, so if you already have a Giga, you can change it into this one once you get the mod, which is quite nice, or if you want to uninstall the mod, you can swap it back to a regular Giga. But of course, getting to the main part of it, it's like a revamped Giga, and it looks way better than the original. I think this Giga is amazing looking. It's got some pretty cool abilities like the tail swipe you've been seeing here that you can do, as well as you've got like the crouch ability where you can actually use it to get into the tech cave, which is quite nice. You can bring these things into boss fights, but you can only have like two of them near each other, because if you have any more than that, then they'll get like angry and go into rage mode. But this one's got a bunch of cool abilities. And there's also the Evo Rex as well, which is a revamped Rex. I believe it's just a tad bit smaller, and it's got more abilities like the stomps and the tail whips and the roar as well. It all looks really cool, and the animations are great. Next up at number 44 is the Miraxis. This is kind of like a T-Rex, but it's a bit smaller, and of course it looks a lot different. The saddle is pretty unique too, with like the black thing, like spikes sticking out of it, which I do think look pretty cool. This thing's got really good animations as well. Just if you want another like big theropod added to the world, this one's a nice one with all of the abilities that it has. I believe it has like a heavy attack and a few different attacks that it can do that set it apart from other theropods. At number 45 is the Ark Edition's Brachiosaurus. Now this one is coming to the base game. It's going to get a TLC, but it's going to be quite a while before that happens, because of course it is getting a TLC, so it's going to be a while before they actually finish that. So in the meantime, you can use this Brachie instead, and once of course it does come to the official game, you should be able to just basically turn your Brachie into a vanilla one that'll be in the game, or I believe Drugo will implement that at some point. He's been doing that with all the Ark Edition's creatures, I believe. And this, of course, the Brachie is a really well made mod. Of course, all of Drugo's mods are really well made. It's got like the stomp attack that you're seeing here. It's really overpowered. That is one thing, is it harvests pretty much every resource in the game, is insanely strong, and it has a fear roar that can fear roar a Giga, but it's also really dope. And the Brachiosaurus is one creature that I've never really understood why it hasn't been in the game already. And number 46 is the Klinger Additional Rustic Builds. This one adds a new build set, or actually a ton of different ones. You got like this one, and there's also like a fur set, so you can have it for the Arctic as well, which looks quite nice. And there's tons of unique building pieces like these two tall roofs as well. There's also furniture and stuff. I did build a bigger base, but my game crashed and it deleted all of it, which is kind of annoying. It does introduce bridges, which is something that would be awesome to have in Ark, not like the Tek bridge that doesn't count. I mean, I guess it is a bridge, but having like an actual like wooden one would be really sick as well. This mod also has like wooden like foundation platforms, which is quite nice. So if you want to build on the water as well, especially since we don't have like the Genesis Part 1 like build platforms yet on the water. After that, at number 47 is the D-Tek Rex. This is a like custom-made Tek Rex that looks a lot different from the regular Tek creatures. It kind of looks like Transformers, like from when they made that movie with the dinosaur ones. Kind of reminds me of that a lot, and it's got some pretty unique attacks as well, like the spin attack, as well as its roar is a lot, I don't even know how to describe that, but it has a pretty louder roar, I guess you would say. Number 48 is the additional munitions. This just adds a bunch of more guns. Right here is like the bolt action. Then you got this gun right here, which shoots a ton at once. Of course, with the huge drum mag. And then you got this gun, which is like another AR that you can use against some of the creatures. They are pretty strong as well. I've noticed there's this gun as well. I don't remember what this one is exactly. Then you got the LMG, which is quite fun to mess around with, as it has a ton of bullets in it. Then there's the shotgun, which you can also get explosive rounds for, which I imagine is pretty fun being able to shoot. And then you got like the MAC-10 as well. You can kind of use as like a little SMG as well. I guess there's not really SMGs in Ark either. And number 49 is Dragon's Kingdom. This has got to be one of the best dragons mod. It has its own unique dragon with insanely great animations. I mean, the animations for this look great. It also has a dive ability, which any flower with a dive instantly makes it way better, so they're a lot more fun. There's also a few different variants. Most of them are just different sizes, but there's the young ones, then there's like the juvenile ones, which is the small one right there. Then there's like I believe there's the elder, and then there's the ancient one, and then there's like an adult one as well. And then there's the alpha one, which the alpha one, I don't think you can tame the alpha one, but it's the biggest and it's the strongest. You know, it's got like holes in its wings and it's kind of red. And then I imagine you can kill that one as well. At number 50 is the Rockwell's Experimental Treats mod, which adds a bunch of different like things you can eat that give you a bunch of different effects. This one's a premium one that's like $2. And I do have a code for this one as well if you want to be the first to get it. But of course, all of these are like have different ones you have to go make and figure out the recipes for. And then of course, once you do, they give you a lot of the abilities I noticed were like more PvP oriented, except for this one, which is like a jump one, which makes you jump super high and not take fall damage, which is kind of fun to mess around with. Right here, we got the old no scope with the sniper from the munitions mod, which you can also do, I guess, with the jump. That's the only thing I could think to do with it. This mod does have a lot more to it, and I'm not really have time to go over all of it in this video, but I know Babe Plays Games made a full video on this mod if you do want to learn more in depth about it and all of the abilities of all the different treats and stuff that are in here. At number 51 is the Dino Mindwipe mod. This is a very simple one, but basically it just gives a Mindwipe that you can use on dinos, so it basically gives all your levels back so you can put them into different stats. So for example, here I had the Giga, which I had a bunch of random stuff pumped, and then of course I used the Dino Wipe and just pumped them all in the melee, which of course if you don't know is what you should pump in a Giga, because all the other stats basically go up by nothing, but that's besides the point. This mod is pretty useful, especially if you just want to go back and change some stats in there or see what the base stats were of a creature. That's also a good use for this mod as well. And number 52 is the Ark Edition's Acro. This one might be coming to the game sooner than the Brachii, but I still thought I would include it because it has been one of the best mods for years now, and I feel like it'd be kind of a shame not to include it as it's really well done. But of course, the Acro is pretty dope. It's in between the size like a Giga and a Rex. It's got the amazing roar, as well as you can go into like the shield stance where you take less damage, and it also has the rage mode as well. And number 53 is a very simple mod called Stop the Steal. Basically makes it to where Ichthyornis and Pegamastex can't steal stuff from you, which honestly I might start using this one because Pegos and Ichthyes are insanely annoying. So this mod just basically stops that completely. Super simple, but of course it's great. And number 54 is Nyrandil Premium, which I believe is like $5. But this one also has a free version as well that you can do, but this one's around like 50% done, so just keep that in mind before you actually do end up buying this, as it's not done yet, but that will be added in. It seems like they're going to add a bunch of cool stuff, but as you can see, there's some pretty cool biomes. Like there was that coral biome, and then there's like this kind of like, I guess, kind of slightly forested biome. All the biomes are really unique and nothing like any other Ark map has. Like it's all unique custom biomes, especially that one coral biome. There's also the huge floating island areas, which look really dope, and they're like in the center of the map. They look really cool. Then there's the like castle area with some really unique castles with its own unique structures, and then there's like the desert / savannah area, which the savannah area looks really cool. I've never really seen biomes like that, as well as there's like these giant trees that you can normally find in savannah biomes that it's cool to actually see in Ark as well. There's also like this jungle biome, which is like a really dense jungle, and then there's like this giant tree that's coming out of the center covered in foliage, which I think looks really dope. And yeah, it's got another like obelisk, the red obelisk, and then it has like these ruins surrounding it. It's like a really cool obelisk location. I've never really seen anything like that before, so I definitely like that part as well. And then number 55 is the Manjugansaurus. I don't know if I said that one right. This is one that's, I believe, a pretty popular dinosaur. I mean, it's not the most famous dinosaur in the world, but a lot of people like it and have wanted it in Ark. This mod adds it, as well as the one with the giant horn on the top of it. It's got a roar and some pretty other like kind of fun abilities to mess around with, but not really too much to say about this one. And number 56 is the Bombardier Beetle. It's basically a giant flying beetle that you can ride on the back of, which is really cool that you're able to ride these things. There's also 3 different variants of them. There's like the Blaze one, the Bombardier one, and then I can't remember what the last one was, but there's 3 of them here that you can tame, and they all do different things. I know the Bombardier one, I believe, like shoots fire, which is quite nice. And then number 57 is the Crafting Skill Potion. This one is a simple one, but it's really helpful, especially if you're wanting to make like insanely good armor without having to go through the grind of it. Normally you have to like take a Mindwipe tonic and then put all your levels in the crafting skill, and then you have to wait like 24 hours before you can actually use the Mindwipe tonic again to put your stats back where they were. But this mod basically just makes it to where you do the potion, it puts all your points immediately into crafting skill, and then after 2 minutes it'll revert and put all your stats back to exactly where they were. So makes it super easy and you don't have to worry about it anymore. After that, at number 58 is the Godzilla Ark. The TLC is what it's called, because I mean Godzilla Ark was a really popular mod in Ark Survival Evolved, and it's brought back in Ark Ascended with even more abilities and a revamped model, so it looks even better, hence why it's called the TLC. As you can see, this thing's absolutely massive. That's it compared to the Rex. I think it's around the same size as a Titanosaur, which I mean you'd expect it to be pretty big from Godzilla, but this one's a pretty fun one as well. Number 59 is the Shantungosaurus. This one is like a giant, I believe, Hadrosaur, and I've always wanted this specific creature to be added to the game, so it's really cool that this mod actually adds it, and it's pretty fun. Like I said, pretty unique as well. It's kind of like the other Hadrosaur that we went over, the like Barsabolia, but it's a bit different in its own unique ways. At number 60 is the Vector Spinus. This is part of the like Spinosaurids. It's like the Spinosaurus and the Baryonyx, same family there. And we don't really have too many. Like I said, those are the only two in the game that we have. And this is a pretty cool one. It's really large as well. I think it's around the size of a Rex. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And it's got some like armor as well, and it also has a turret saddle, as you can see right here. So you can put a turret on the back of it and shoot some things up. And I imagine that one would be pretty fun as well. Number 61 is the Clifton Saddles mod. This one adds like 3 new saddles for the Moza, the Thyla, and the RG. Both of them are like armored and they look pretty cool. Kind of sucks there's only 3 of them, but these 3 saddles are really cool, and they're for creatures I imagine people would be using a lot, especially the RG. But the Moza and Thyla would be cool too to have. I think the Thyla one's really cool because it's like a full body outfit. Number 62 is the Draconic Chronicles mod. It basically just adds a bunch of dragons, including like the blood crystal wyverns, or I think all the crystal wyverns. You got all kinds of ones. You got this one that looks like a dude. You got this fish wyvern, or dragon, which is interesting. Then there's this one, which I believe like shoots lava or something. And then this one is the one from Atlas. That's like the pirate Ark game that they made. I'm pretty sure this one's from Atlas. There's another look at the fish one. And then there's the like a lava one as well. Those aren't all of the dragons. There's actually more, but I didn't go over all of them here. There's also a shoulder pet one that allows you to fly around, kind of like the cinema crops. And number 63 is the Dinotherium. Of course, this one is coming to the vanilla game, but if you want to play with it now, then you can still get the mod. This one, I imagine, might actually be coming to the game pretty soon, but I still thought I'd put it on here because it is a phenomenal mod. Of course, that's why it's getting added to the game. Besides the point, it's like a giant elephant. It's even bigger than like a mammoth or a paracer, and it's got like a roar that deals, or it makes the creatures around it have a buff in damage. At number 64 is the Moro's Indomitable Duo mod, which basically adds the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor, except for they can't be called that for copyright reasons, but this one is pretty good. Like the Indominus Rex has so many abilities, as you can see right there. I'm not going to go over all of them, but it's got some pretty dope ones. Of course, you got the cloak, which you would imagine from a Indominus Rex, and then the roar is really sick as well. I think it's a fear roar too. Then there's the Indoraptor, which also has some pretty fun abilities as well, and it's pretty cool to ride around on. At number 65 is the Primal Nemesis mod, which is a huge overhaul mod. It is a premium one and it costs $10. I do have a code for this one, which will be some point on screen. But this one is a huge overhaul mod. It has like over 1,000 custom like creatures, or I guess they would be more like reskinned, but you know, that's just how overhaul mods work. But there's tons of different stuff. There's tiers for the creatures, so if you just want a like large overhaul mod that has tons of stuff to explore, then this could definitely be one. If of course you want to pay for the premium version of it, that is. But it seems like a really cool and fun like overhaul mod, and definitely one of the best that Ark Ascended has so far. At number 66 is the Star Animals mod, which basically adds a few of the like dinosaur creatures from Atlas, and which most of them are just reskins of creatures from Ark, because that's what Atlas did. But it also has the unique like Tortuga, I believe this one was called. I remember this one being in Atlas. I never actually played it though, so if you do want to try this one out, you can in Ark. And this one's pretty cool. It's like you can like go in the shell and you can like open it up and put it there. I feel like it'd probably be more useful for PvP, but it's still a pretty cool creature. And number 67 is the Helicoprion from Ark Editions, also coming to the base game. We've already talked about this before on the other Ark Editions creatures. I'm still going to include them because they are great creatures, and of course If you want to play with them now, then you can by getting the mods. And the Helicoprion is pretty dope. It's like a shark that can basically turn like items into blueprints, which is a really powerful mechanic that it has, but it has like a high chance of actually destroying it, so you could lose your item that you're trying to turn into a blueprint. Other than that, it's kind of weak. It does have a tail like whip though. And number 68 is the Tek Collection of Creatures. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because I know I'm going to get it wrong, but this one is a pretty cool one. It adds a bunch of new Tek Creatures to the game that aren't normally in Ark Survival Evolved, even though we haven't even got the regular Tek Creatures, which this one does not have, by the way. It just has the new ones, which, as you can see, there's a lot of them. And some of them are really cool, like the Rhino there, the Therizinosaur, there's the Rock Drake, the Spino, the Reaper. Reaper's probably my favorite of all these Tek ones. There's also the Anki too, but there's tons, as well as all 3 different Wyvern variants. Number 69 is the Arcology, and not the Arcology event. That one was not very good. This one is actually really good. It's got to be one of the best Ark mods in my opinion right now. It basically adds a ton of variants to the game, and pretty much for almost every creature in the game, and they look really good as well. They all have their unique patterns with some really vibrant colors. There's also brand new alpha variants as well, including like this alpha Karchar, which I imagine would be insanely tough to try and kill, but would also be really fun. I've always thought it'd be cool if they had like an alpha Giga or something as like a mini boss, but yeah, they have it in here. Number 7 is the Sunken World edition. This one adds a few new underwater creatures. This first one being the Edistus, I think. I don't really know how to say that one. And then there's a few other ones, like there's this underwater like turtle thing, kind of looks like the Archelon, but you can build on the back of it, I think. And then there's like this tiny little fish. There's also variants for like the Plesiosaur and a few other ones that I call like the Sunken variants. And then there's this actual land creature. I'm not sure why there was a land creature in the underwater ones, but it's still a really cool and well done land creature though. And then of course there's like amphibious creatures like this one here. Number 71 is another aquatic based one, which is the Paleo Ark aquatic one. Adds 2 new creatures, like there's this squid right here. It's not rideable or anything, it's pretty small, but it's really cool. And then there's this one which basically looks like a small plesiosaur. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this one, but like I said, it's like a baby plesiosaur that can go on land too, which is kind of fun. It's really fast in the water as well. Number 71 is the Tristan's Wyvern Tweaks, which basically adds a few new abilities to the Wyverns, including making it able to dive, which is something I've always wanted the Wyvern to do ever since they added dive abilities with the Griffin. I think it's really dope, and this mod adds it. Of course, also they add the ability to tame Wyverns just by knocking them out and not having to do the eggs, even though you can still do that. Also, I believe they're a little bit slower to make up for the like diving ability, and I believe like in the future they're planning to add like armor and stuff for it. They have a saddle slot for these things, but there's not actually a saddle in there yet, but I believe they're going to be added in the future. And number 72 is the Ark Wild's Cockatrice. I'm not sure exactly how to say this one, but this is a really unique and pretty cool creature. It's got like a gliding ability, kind of looks like a yeeling, at least it reminds me of a yeeling, except if it were like starved to death, and then this were the outcome of it. It is like I believe it's a desert exclusive one for Scorched Earth. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like part of the desert maps. And I think this one's actually a pretty cool one. It's just really unique. Like I said, I guess it is very similar to the Yeeling, but that did just come out, so I guess we've got a few similar to that one. And number 73 is the Western Decor Mod. This adds a ton of new decorations that are of course in a Western theme, and a lot of them are extremely well done. There's tons of decorations in here. Like I believe this mod is like over a gigabyte in size. There's just a ton of structures to mess around with. I mean, it's not really building structures, it's just more decorations, and each decoration usually has like a ton of different variants you can cycle through and mess around with. So there's just a lot to see here. Number 74 is the Improved Phoenix. This one improves the Phoenix obviously by adding armor to it, basically like the natural armor, kind of like the Shadow Mane. It also makes it to where you can move left and right and backwards, so it's not like having terrible turning radius, so that is nice. As well as it has a weight reduction on metal, and it smelts it way faster, as you can see right here. It's insanely fast. The Phoenix definitely needs some improvements because right now it's not really the most useful. Also, this version will not require heat waves to spawn in, which makes it even better. And number 75 is the No Untameables Mod. This is a pretty simple one, basically just makes all untameable creatures tameable, and it's pretty cool. My favorite one is the Death Worm. As you can see, you can actually ride it around. It comes out of the ground, you can burrow in the ground and come out. It's got its own saddle. It's super fun to mess around riding a Death Worm, because of course I've always really wanted to ride a Death Worm, ever since they came to the game, and it's pretty fun to mess around with. You can also tame the Elite Sickness as well. Currently, like, some of the DLC creatures aren't available because they are pretty new, like the ones on Aberration, but ones on the island and Scorched Earth you should be able to tame. At number 76 is the Scrapped Assets mod, which adds a bunch of stuff that was in the dev kit that never came to Ark and adds it to the game. Like, as you can see right here is the Hive. I've talked about it a lot in previous videos. If you watch my videos a lot, you'll probably remember me talking about this. But it's in here too, which is pretty dope. There's the Leoplorodon saddle, which, you know, is kind of just a small thing, but it looks cool. Then there's the, like, skins from the Archaeology event, which, you know, I guess there are creatures in here now. But and then there's also like this stool thing here. I believe there was a stool, and then there's like this little shelf here that was in the div kit that didn't get added, but it has in here in this mod. And number 77 is the Aberrant Direwolf mod. It just adds an aberrant version of the direwolf. It's a little bit bigger and I believe stronger than the regular direwolf, which is pretty cool. It makes the direwolf a little bit more useful, especially on Aberration, making it pretty strong, and I really like the design for this one. And number 78 is the Better Therizinosaur mod, which is also similar to Aberration because there's an Aberrant variant for this one too, but it also makes it so the Therizinosaur has a weight reduction on wood, which is something I've always wanted it to have, so that is nice. Basically gives it a weight reduction and Aberrant variant, super sick. Number 79 is the Enclave mod. This one basically is another one where it's kind of like you're put on a map and you got like an adventure pre-planned to go through. This one is where you spawn in and the world is covered in spores and you have to wear a gas mask in order to, you know, not die from it. And then it's kind of like a destroyed city after an apocalypse, and you've got to like go around and explore and figure out your way through it. So this one is a premium mod one, though. I do have a code for it, which you can find somewhere throughout the footage in here, but if you want some sort of adventure map, kind of like Survive the Night, then this is another one you can get. I think it's like $10, I believe, because it is a premium. Number 80 is Tempress Lagoon. This is the free version, but there is a premium version as well that you can get if you want more out of this map. And this one's pretty unique. It's got a lot of pink and purple colors, you'll notice throughout here, as well as like some reds and oranges and all kinds of... It's super colorful map. And where the areas that aren't there are just like regular trees. They got the Arctic biomes and all kinds of stuff you'd expect in a normal map. There's also a volcanic area as well with a volcano. There's this swamp area with huge swamp trees coming over, which is pretty cool and definitely makes it better than a just regular swamp biome. I've also noticed there's a ton of Quetzals that spawn on this map, which is kind of fun. There's like a dragon trench where there's like mini versions of the dragon boss that you can find. I think you might be able to tame them, I'm not entirely sure. And there's like this area which is, I guess is a desert, but doesn't really look like it with the pink shade, but I don't know, it's still cool. This area also does spawn griffins, which is quite cool to be able to get those on this map. Number 81 is the Moros Livyatan, which is a premium mod that's $5, but it's got to be one of my favorite creatures mods, specifically for the underwater, as I really like big creatures, and this one is massive. It's even bigger than the elites like this. I mean, it would definitely be the biggest underwater creature in the game if you do get this mod. I also have 2 codes for this one, not just one. I'll have those hidden throughout here, but this one is pretty cool. It's also got the bone saddle. It has 3 different saddles. There's the bone one, which is really cool looking, and then there's the tech one with the laser on it, super futuristic looking saddle, and this one also has a ton of abilities as well. It's got a roar and all kinds of fun stuff you can do with this one. Next at number 82 is the Laelaps. It's basically like a retro dinosaur, I guess. It's a lot like how people thought dinosaurs looked like 50 to 80, maybe even 100 years ago, where they kind of looked like kangaroos, and it kind of acts like it too, where it has a giant jump ability. It's kind of a weird looking one, but it can also be fun to mess around with. And number 83 is the RR Star Farm animals, which basically adds a few from Atlas, I believe, but they're mainly just the farm ones, like horses and ovis and, or I guess, sheeps. And then there's also cats in here, which are pretty dope. I definitely like the cats out of this mod. And number 84 is the Karchar Rework mod. It's basically like a TLC for the Karchar, which changes it up a bit, gives it that new roar. It also just gives it some tweaks in its abilities. It has a weight reduction on meat, so you can use this thing for meat runs a lot better. Also has a different look. There's also 2 versions of this mod. There's the one I have here, which is just the regular Karchar size, and there's another one that has it small, which is around the same size of a Rex, which is how big it would probably be in real life. And number 85 is Alpha Everything, and as the name suggests, it basically has alpha variants of everything in the game, at least every tameable creature. Of according to the mod. So it'll spawn in the alpha variants, which of course are even stronger, and you can fight them. If you want some more of a challenge, I guess, and you want alphas of every single creature, this one's going to be a fun one to add. And number 86 is the mod map for Galar. And this one also has a premium version, but this is the free version I'm showing off in the footage. And it's got some crazy looking terrain. It's got to be some of the craziest terrain I've seen. Like, so many, I don't even really know how to describe what the terrain looks like on here. Just things you normally wouldn't really see. The obelisk, like you see the green obelisk here, has got some dragons on it. You got a mushroom that's got a face on it with a, and that looks interesting. The swamp biome is like surrounded by cliffs and has huge mushrooms and vines hanging over it, which looks really cool. You got like some just crazy looking terrain right here, as you can see. There's the yellow obelisk they have in here. There's like some pretty cool looking cliffs as well. There's this completely unique biome. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like these black circles with holes in them you can go in, and when you go in the biome, it starts raining and your screen dims, so it's kind of harder to see, but it spawns super dangerous creatures here, so you have to be careful. Overall, this is just a pretty crazy looking map with all kinds of fun stuff. So if you want a super unique map with crazy terrain, this is a good one to go for. Number 87 is the Zero Additions. It basically adds, it's kind of like the archaeology one, it adds a ton of new variants. This is probably one of my favorites, the like Gigaraptor one. But there's also this Fossil Suchus one, and on the Rock Drake. But there's a ton of different variants in this mod as well, not just these few. The Rock Drake one I do like as well. There's also a like Giga one right here, as you can see. It's kind of hard to see with the colors I did get. The colors sometimes can kind of blend in with each other, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you can also just get ones with really cool colors as well. Like there's the Giga, and then there's the Dino Suchus I got. It's got like some pink colors at the bottom, or pinkish I guess, and it looks pretty cool. Like I said, there's even the Ark Editions creatures that they've added, which is pretty dope. And number 88 is the Dino book. It basically is just a book you can make that gives you a list of all the creatures in the game and just gives you some information on how to tame them, as well as what food they take. It's basically information that you normally just have to look up on the wiki or go to Dodo Decks or something, which would take you out of the game, which can be kind of annoying sometimes. This just has it in the game, so if you just want to be able to look at it without having to actually like get out of the game, you know, like break the immersion, I guess, then you can check this. I think it's pretty cool because I kind of find it annoying sometimes having to go check the wiki for information. I just want to keep playing. And after that, number 89 is the Star Exotic Animals. This one adds a few more from Atlas. There's some of the more exotic creatures, as it says, and some of them are really cool. Like there was the like elephant right here. There's the lions, the tigers, and all that stuff. You can also get like the, I don't remember what this thing was called, but it's a really interesting looking one. There's the giant giraffe, and you can get access to parrots, which is pretty dope. Next up at number 90 is the Spino Redux mod. It basically is a rework for the Spino that makes it a lot better. First off, it gives it a sprint underwater, which makes it blazing fast. It's like a Sarco. It reminds me of how fast it goes in the water. It also has no oxygen stat anymore, so you can go underwater forever, as well as it has increased health, and I believe it attacks faster on the bipedal stance, so just give it some buffs, so that way it's better, because right now the Spino isn't exactly the best creature compared to like other theropods in its class, like the Rex. It gets outbeaten by, so this makes it a lot better. And at number 91 is the Meolalani. It's like a giant turtle, even bigger than the like Carbonimes, and it's got huge spikes. One thing I like is it can actually go in its shell, which other turtles in this game can't do, which I think is pretty dope. It's also got like a mortar turret saddle. It's basically like a mortar. You can sit on the back and shoot giant shells, and it seems like if you have a bunch of them, there's not really a cooldown for shooting them, so you can kind of just spam the rockets, but it's still kind of fun. You have to be in like the inside the shell to actually use the mortar ability, so you have to be standing still. Number 92 is the Primal Chaos mod. This one is another Overhaul mod, and it's basically like Primal Fear from Ark Survival Evolved, which is one of the most popular mods from Ark Survival Evolved. It's pretty much the same exact thing, and it's got tons of different tiers of dinosaurs. The tiers, it starts out with the like beta tier, which has like tons of different variants, and there's the alpha tier after that, which of course for each tier you need kibble from ones you tamed from the previous one. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then there's the elemental tier after that, which has 3 different like sub things that you can get, which is the hydro, the electric, and the volcanic. And then it keeps going from there. You get 4, which is the advanced elemental, then you get the mythic and legendary tier. And then there's some crazy bosses like you've been seeing on screen. This boss right here, which is like a reskin Gigantopithecus, but it has like 60 million health, so pretty intense. At 93 is a mod map called Insalonia. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce this one, but this one has a ton of huge, large cliffs. It has a lot of the more biomes you would expect in normal Ark maps. It's got a gigantic volcano at the center of the map with kind of like a desert around it. I don't know if you'd exactly describe that as a desert. There's a huge cherry blossom biome in between an Arctic biome and like a redwoods Arctic biome, which is kind of cool. We don't really see like Arctic biome type redwoods or those two mixed together. Then there's a huge swamp biome with also like there's like this part of it where it's like being infected. I don't know, this is kind of like a cool unique little area inside of this map that I thought was quite nice. The green obelisk also looks pretty cool in the swamp biome. The next mod at number 97 is 7 Deadly Ascended, which is a premium mod. It's like $2 or $3. I don't know because I claimed the mod and then it won't tell me what the price, and when I Google it, there's just no answer, so it's like $2 to $3. I can't, the game won't tell me. But besides that, it's basically like another overhaul mod, except for there's 7 different variants of creatures you can find, which of course is like the 7 deadly things. But yeah, you can kind of go through all those, and there's a few of them. A lot of them are just different colors of like the variants, but you can kind of like go up through the tiers, and then there's like other bosses and stuff like that that you can eventually get to. And number 95 is the day indicator. Basically every day there'll be like the day count, and then it will tell you what biome you're in as well as what map you're on. It's kind of just a nice little aesthetic thing. Obviously it's not going to be a huge game changing mod, but it is quite nice. I could see this even being kind of fun in 100-day videos if people started to use this mod, but I don't know. And number 96 is the Eocarcharia. This is like a mid-sized theropod made by Tristan, who's made a lot of mods on this video, but this is like a pretty good one. It's got a pretty fun roar. It's got, you know, armor on it as well. It's like a little bit smaller than a Rex. It has a spin attack and a bleed attack, which is pretty cool as well, making it pretty strong. Number 97 is the Colossus Scorpius. This is basically a Paleo Scorpius, but way bigger, and it's pretty fun to ride around. It also has a platform saddle you can build on the back of. It's just a giant scorpion, but it's pretty fun to mess around with, just having like a massive sized scorpion to kill stuff with. And number 98 is the Colonial Expansion Cottages mod, which I think this is a great building mod because it's got so many different building pieces that no other mod or structure in the game has. Like, it has so many different variations and so many different sizes where you can pretty much make anything you'd want to, at least in this style, which is pretty cool. This literally took me like 5 or 10 minutes, but it was just a little bit. You could go so much farther. This is just a quick showcase of what you could build in here, but there's so much more you could build with this mod. But after that, at number 99 is the Emotes Ascended mod. This one basically just adds a bunch of emotes you can do. Instead of pulling it up on the emote wheel, you have to like hold square or R and to pull up the emotes, and then you kind of get this menu here where you can choose and you can put it on loop and all the different bunch of settings. And there's a bunch of different ones. A lot of them are used for like cinematics and stuff, which I think could actually be kind of fun for making videos, but that's for a video making. There's also just a bunch of funny ones you can use if you want to joke around with people. And at number 100 is the Thorax Spider. This one is a pretty popular one. It's like the jumping spider that lost the aberration vote, basically brought into the game, and it can climb walls, and the climbing actually feels really great. It's got some great climbing, as well as it can jump insanely far. It's also got like web attacks and stuff, as you would expect from a spider. But this one is a pretty cool and definitely a fun one to run around and climb around stuff with. But that is 100 of the best mods in Ark Survival Ascended. If you guys did enjoy it and make this far into the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye.